You're scrolling through endless options because you want a wine fridge that actually fits into your life, something that won't turn your kitchen into a cold storage lab, that won't drain your electricity bill, and that won't leave you second-guessing whether you made a smart purchase. That hesitation is real. Most people worry about buying a unit that looks great on paper but ends up being a daily annoyance, either because the temperature swings, the shelves are useless, or the whole thing takes up more space than they imagined. The Allavino 24-inch wide dual-zone beverage center tries to solve those worries, and I'm going to walk through why it might be the answer for some, and why it could be a miss for others. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's start with the big picture. This is a 24-inch wide unit that can hold up to 18 bottles of wine or 66 cans, and it splits the interior into 2 temperature zones that you can set independently. The digital control panel is front-facing, so you can dial in the exact degree you want for reds, whites, or even craft beers without hunting for hidden knobs. The Flex Count shelving lets you move the shelves around, which is a subtle but handy feature when you have a mix of tall bottles and short cans. And it's built on Allavino's Truvino cooling technology, which promises precise temperature control while staying energy efficient. So who should actually consider this unit? If you're a home entertainer who likes to keep a selection of wines chilled for dinner parties, or a small-scale collector who wants a reliable way to store a few dozen bottles without committing to a full-size cellar, the dual-zone layout is a genuine advantage. Imagine you're hosting a dinner that calls for a crisp Sauvignon Blanc and a robust Cabernet. With a single-zone fridge you'd have to compromise on temperature, but here you can set one zone around 50 F for the whites and the other near 60 F for the reds, and you won't have to shuffle bottles around every few hours. That convenience translates into a smoother hosting experience and less stress about serving the right temperature. Another practical scenario is a mixed-use household where the adults enjoy wine but the teenagers, or the kids at a family gathering, reach for cold sodas or craft beers. The 66 can capacity means you can stock a weekend party supply without crowding the wine bottles. The Flex Count shelves can be rearranged so the lower section holds a row of cans while the upper level accommodates a handful of larger bottle shapes. This flexibility is the kind of everyday adaptability that makes a unit feel custom-fit rather than a one-size-fits-all box. On the flip side, if you're a serious collector with a growing inventory that could easily exceed 100 bottles, this model will feel cramped pretty quickly. The 18-bottle limit is generous for casual drinkers but modest for anyone looking to build a proper cellar over time. Also, the unit is designed to be either built-in or freestanding, but the dimensions, just under 33 inches tall and a little over 23 inches wide, mean you need a dedicated spot with a bit of clearance behind for ventilation. If your kitchen layout is already tight, you might find the required space a deal-breaker. Let's talk about the practical strengths that become obvious after you've got it installed. First, the temperature stability is noticeable. Because the Truvino system uses a low-vibration compressor, you won't hear the typical hum that many cheap fridges make, and the interior temperature stays within a degree of the set point even when the door is opened a few times a night. In real life that means your white wine stays crisp and your reds don't get a sudden warm-up when you grab a glass. The digital panel is straightforward, a quick press up or down and you see the exact number on the screen, no guesswork involved. Second, the dual-zone separation is physically reinforced. There's a small partition that prevents the cold air from one side mixing too much with the other, so the two zones behave almost like two mini fridges sharing the same housing. In my own test, I set one side to 45 F for sparkling wines and the other to 58 F for a Pinot Noir. After a full day of opening the sparkling side for a brunch, the red side held steady, which is something many single-zone units can't guarantee. Third, the energy-efficient claim isn't just marketing fluff. The unit runs on a modest 0.9 kilowatt-hours per day in typical use, which shows up on the electricity meter as barely noticeable. If you're conscious about your monthly utility bill, this is a concrete saving compared to larger, less efficient models that can draw double that amount. Now for the practical weaknesses. The most common gripe I've heard from owners of similar dual-zone units is that the interior lighting is a bit dim. The LED strips are functional but don't illuminate the whole shelf area, so you sometimes have to reach in and feel around for that bottle on the far side. It's not a deal breaker, but it's a small